Hi there, Faisal. Nice to see you working really hard and writing your next set of essays nice and promptly. So great job. Let's take a look and see what you wrote in this set, okay? This is about local food and if it's better for the environment and economy if we eat only that. Let's see what you said. It is argued by some that international trading of food is both harmful for the environment and the economy of a country, and instead people should turn to their local farmers for these products. In my opinion, while buying locally produced products is good for the environment, the economy of some nations will undoubtedly collapse. Great. Okay, looking forward to reading it. Let's see what you said. Preventing trading of food products among the countries will have a positive impact on the environment. Don't forget your the here, the majority of these products are transported by trucks and airplanes, which release enormous amount of greenhouse gases. These gases damage the environment and lead to air and water pollution. If these practices were reduced and people only bought locally sourced produce, then the level of pollution would decline. You need a would here. Would decline significantly. Why? Because it's a theoretical subject that you're talking about, and so the best tense here is will. For instance, countries like Belize and Pakistan that do not import a great deal of products tend to have better environmental conditions than the UK, which is heavily reliant on food importation. All right, great. However, lack of international food trading will have a dire impact on countries that solely rely on exportation. That is to say, that economies of some nations like India are heavily dependent on selling their product to other nations. If other countries stop buying Indian produced food, then the economy of India will collapse. This will have a catastrophic impact on the livelihood of the farmers. For example, it is estimated that almost 1 million farmers in Asia alone will go out of business if Western countries stop importing fruits. Therefore, continuing trading of food products is essential for the economy of some countries to thrive. In conclusion, while the environment will greatly benefit from decreased trading, the same cannot be said about the economy. This is great. This is such a nicely written essay. I really liked it. Were there a couple of little minor mistakes? Yeah, there were. Really, not a problem. I mean, it read so easily. It took me all of 2 minutes to read it. It flowed. It was accurate. It was clearly laid out. You supported. You developed. So I'm actually really, really happy with this. There's one thing that you didn't do. It's a detail. Here you did it. Here you gave a nice conclusive statement to your paragraph. Here you did not. Okay, I'm just pointing it out to you because it is something that is showcased in the template as something that you should include. But honestly, I felt like it was a well-structured paragraph. And I also really like that you could see the positive of one aspect and the negative of the other aspect. So yes, of course, local food, better for the environment, but terrible for the economy. Just to let you know, other students who have done this have actually said the exact opposite. They've said that it's terrible for the, they said that it's buying local food is good for the, well, whatever, the exact opposite view. So, but I'm really happy with this. This is really well done. I'm really happy also that you tried this advanced grammatical structure using a conditional, but do take a look at the tenses that we use in these conditional statements. This is a second conditional, all right? And so the second conditional requires a certain tense in the then clause. So this was wrong. It should have been would. But that was pretty much the only grammatical mistake that I think I found, and maybe one or two little tiny ones. But a really nicely written essay. So great job. Let's take a look at this one about the chips in France. The graph compares the number of chips sold in France by the companies Intel and AMD in the year 2017. Overall, it is clear that sales fluctuated greatly throughout the year. The highest sales for Intel were in June, while the highest sales for AMD were in February. Little errors, not a huge deal. It's fine. At the start of the year, Intel sold 50,000 chips, while AMD sold only half that number, not the number, that number. In February, AMD sales increased by 200,000 more, whereas Intel sale numbers increased by 50%. Let me look at that. 50%. Yeah, that's true. It did. Okay, good. In the next 3 months, the number of chips sold by AMD, get rid of that stayed around 70,000 compared to Intel that had values ranging between 25 and 100,000 during the same period. I'm so glad that you use this range. That's a great thing to do. You don't have to talk about every single month, but you give a range to say that, just to give like an approximate value, like, look, this is where my numbers were between. It's a smart thing to do, so I'm pleased that you did that. Interestingly, AMD did not sell any chips in July. Are you sure? No. AMD didn't sell any chips in June, so be careful. That's inaccurate. For AMD, July was actually its second highest month ever. Okay, so careful with that inaccuracy. So, but let's pretend that you meant June. So interestingly, AMD did not sell any chips in July, while Intel reached its peak. I got rid of company. Reached its peak by selling approximately 125,000 chips. The value for Intel decreased in the subsequent months, not years, careful Faisal, and reached a final value over 100,000 in December. Similarly, the sales for AMD fell from, careful, around 110,000 in July to a mere 5,000 in November, before reaching a final value of 25,000 in December. Yes, okay, fine. So let me tell you, apart from the things that I already mentioned that I really liked in this essay, I really am happy with the fact that you began with the beginning of the year. Okay, you started with January. You told me what the highest, I know what the highest points were for both companies. I know what February looked like. I have a scattering of some information throughout the months, and you also gave me that end figure. So even without looking at this graph, I feel fairly comfortable that I can visualize it, that I can imagine what you're talking about, and I'm actually really happy with this, even though there were some errors in terms of the grammar, in terms of some little awkwardness in your phrasing, but it is a very well structured task one. So I'm really pleased. You're doing a great job. It's what you should be doing exactly in terms of the overall structure and the development of this. I'm really happy also that you separated your paragraphs like this. So basically you spent one detailed paragraph on that first half of the year, and then you spent your second detailed paragraph on the second half of the year. That was a very good way to organize this data. So great work. Really great job. Super. I'm happy for you, and you're doing great. Let's just keep up your momentum, keep writing, keep working, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you'll write next. Good job.